investors. To discuss the topic of preparing pitching plan and checklist for the angel and VC investment, we are having an expert speaker, Dr. Moitreyee Goswami. She is a Business World 40 under 40 awardee and CEO of Jucate, an tech company, web techie, Mars tech company, and lonerpreneur entrepreneur community. She is the state president at Maharashtra STEM Education Council and mentors startup at CII Center of Excellence for Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startups, CIES, India Accelerator, Gurgaon, DSU, Innovation and Incubation Center for Entrepreneurship, and RDNC IIC, Mumbai. She is also awarded with the DMA Tribilizer CMO Award by a distinguished jury led by Sam Balsara of Madison, an Exceptional Women of Excellence Award from the Women Economic Forum and prestigious Indian Achievers Award. Welcome, ma'am. Over to you to discuss and share insightful words with our innovators community. Also, I will request all viewers to kindly share your questions so that we can take it at the end of this meeting.
Thank you so much, Abhishek ji, for that lovely introduction. So without wasting any time, let me take this session forward and share. Can you see it all?
Yes, yes. Your voice is audible.
And the screen is also visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start the session for the day. So let's begin with the topic preparing pitching plan and checklist for angel and VC investment. So any startup in their entire life should definitely go for angel or VC investment. Most startups do go for it. And today I'll tell you the basic plan that you require to pitch to an angel or a VC. Now VC comes at a later stage, angel comes before VCs, and the pitch differs a little bit in terms of financials. Whatever you present to the angel investor and whatever you present to the VC is a little different because you are pitching to a VC at a later stage, but the broader plan remains the same. And that is what we are going to discuss about. I cannot cover the entire nitty-gritties about the difference between pitching to an angel and pitching to a VC. That is going to take a lot of time, but we'll keep in mind the broader plan that we need to actually keep in mind when we are pitching to an investor. So we'll cover two things today. One is the pitch basics and a little bit of investment basics so as to understand what exactly is going around in the investment scenario and what exactly is the difference between an angel and a VC, since you all are early stage startups and it is important to distinguish between the two and who should you be talking to at what stage of your life cycle in a startup. So let me start with the pitch basics first. So we'll talk about the building blocks. So basically, what is a pitch deck basically? So pitch deck is basically a presentation. It's a compilation of slides that you actually present to an investor, whether you are presenting it live or whether you are sending via email, and broaden your horizons and talk about the numbers, talk about big numbers. Otherwise, the investors don't get interested. If you are not showing good returns, if you are not showing good profitability, at least the numbers are not there, then they are not interested. So it's like compiling something very attractive and grabbing the attention of the investor at the same time. And you need to include all information, including your goals, your methodology. And at the same time, it has to be very interesting because most of the pitch decks we have seen till now are like very boring. Sometimes they are very boring and it's like at the midway only you lose interest. So that is something you should not be doing. So you need to make it attractive so that the investor reads it till the end. And even if you are presenting, if they are actually listening to you the entire duration. Now, by rule pitch deck, there are three key rules. So there is a person by the name Guy Kawasaki who has given this, and that rule is known as 10, 20, 30. So an ideal pitch deck would have 10 slides. That's where the 10 comes in. 20 means you present it for 20 minutes. Beyond 20 minutes, it becomes boring and no one wants to listen to you. So you should always stick to those 20 minutes. These days, people don't even listen to pitch decks for 20 minutes. So you should be grabbing the attention of the investor within the first 2 3 minutes itself, even within the first half minute itself.
What pain do
And
they have?
30
Then
means what is
you create a
the
story around what
your customers are facing, and this story has to be relatable. Investors must be able to relate to this story. Now you talk about what kind of people are you building this product for, and this kind of person thing is known as persona. What kind of age group are you targeting? What geography are you targeting? What literacy levels, what social status, what economic status? You need to talk about everything here. So that particular thing about your, which describes your audience, is known as persona. So you have to define a persona. What are their typical problems? What is their typical life like? So this is something that you have to build here. So everything in itself is a very big topic. I can keep on talking on and on, but it's like start doing some research around these topics and you would understand what I'm talking about. So persona is important when you're talking about the problem. Then you talk about how your startup is approaching this problem and what are the key elements going to be. So this is what Uber cabs actually presented in their first deck. This was their problem statement. Like, so this, they said that most use aging and inefficient technology, radio dispatch, no two-way communication, most common car Ford Crown Victoria. So this is something that they were talking about the cab scenario in US in 2008, and this is how they presented their problems. You can relate instantly that these are the problems you also face, and this is a very solvable problem, and this is a potential idea that can be actually invested onto. So this is something that you have to build in a very nice way so that people understand what exactly are you talking about and your investors can relate to that actual problem. Next thing that you talk about is your solution. Now that you have talked about the problem, you now talk about how are you planning to solve that problem. So here you talk about what exactly is your startup going to do, how are you going to approach the problem. Here you can also talk about some proprietary technology, if you are going to use something at all, or whatever is your solution going to be, how are you going to actually solve the problem is something that you talk about here. And you can also cover some basic product features, talk about why it's compelling. There must be other solutions to the same problem, right? So you have to tell the investor why is your solution compelling vis-a-vis other competitors that already exist in the market. Then you can also talk about some current industry solutions who are already providing solutions to that particular problem, and you talk about the gaps where your startup comes in and fills those gaps, because since the solutions are not good enough in the existing market, that's why your startup is trying to actually fill in those gaps. And you can include some explainer videos, demos, products, can screenshots if you at all you have, and if you don't have, then you can create some mock-ups to show the investors what your product is exactly going to do for the consumers. So this is a solution slide that was presented. These are all first pitch decks presented by heavily invested and successful startups across the world. So I have tried to capture their first deck only because that is where you guys are at this stage currently. So this is the solution that was proposed by Intercom. You can go through how they have actually presented their solution. This deck will be available with you at a later stage in time. So you can always see how they have presented their solution in a very beautiful and a simple way so that everyone understands. The investor also understands what exactly are they trying to do. So I have put example slides for every slide deck that should be present in the pitch deck. The next slide has to be your market validation. So market validation shows proof that people are actually willing to purchase your product, and this is very important because unless and until you have actual users who are willing to buy your product, your startup is not going to make any money. So it's important to investors, and it's important to always show that you have a market for your product. And it's always important to show that those proofs that you have done the research and you have talked to potential customers and they are ready to pay you something. Unless and until you have that proof, no investor is going to be actually interested in your startup. So here you can actually present your current sales if you have done something, and if you haven't done talk about. And not always do you talk about talk saying that the competitors are doing everything bad. That is not possible. You have to be very honest here. Whatever they are doing good is something that you have to tell, and whatever they are not doing well is also something that you have to tell. And you have to tell that, yeah, vis-a-vis my competitor, these are the things that I'm going to do better than my competitor. Then talk about what sets you apart, and also talk about how your startup bridges those product gaps that are already there in the market. So competitive landscape is not talking bad about your competitors. It is just establishing your position against your competitors, so that you are proven, you have a supremacy over your competitors, but you don't show them in bad light or bad picture, because no one can exist alone in the market. You are always going to have competitors in the market, so it is not advisable to show your competitor in a bad light. So don't talk negative things about your competitor. But the expectation of return is very high when it comes to angel investors, and they will mostly give you money in exchange for equity. There are two types of financing that happens at angel stage in India. One is equity, wherein you take some money and you give out some equity, and there is another mode that is safe notes, recently introduced, was first introduced in the world by Y Combinator, now works in India as well. So safe uh, notes is like it's a simple agreement for future equity. You do the agreement today, you take some amount of money, but the equity goes to the investor at a later stage in time, and the investor decides when are they going to actually take the equity from the company. It could be during your series B, it could be during your pre-series A, any stage. And this is a very tricky kind of a investment. So if someone is going through safe notes, then please read the document, whatever is being offered to you, and read between the lines, get it evaluated by a professional, because there are a lot of loopholes when it comes to safe notes. The ticket size for an angel investor is less than $10 million in India. And in exchange of 20 to 30% equity, that is the maximum you should shell out from your company in during angel investment round. You should not be shelling out anything more than 30%. The team needs to negotiate it really hard, so that you don't land up giving out 50% in picture, because they are after all putting in their money and they need some kind of returns out of that money, right? So it's their hard earned money that they are putting in. So you need to talk about what exactly are you going to do with that money, what exactly do you think about doing with your startup, where do you want it to go, how do you plan it. Some, like Zomato, went into IPO, so a lot of investors benefited out of it. No one thought about it the first day, but at least the founder has had that vision that they will reach to that stage, right? So you need to give out that picture so that they can actually think ahead and think forward, and they don't get that impression that their money is going somewhere else. So that is not something that investors want to do. Most of let me tell you frankly, most of the investment, at least 40% of it, goes into losses. They don't make any money out of it. Only 10% or 20% of the investment actually gives them that kind of. Then there is no road, and you don't even have cap players in those areas. So you have to find out that market first, what can be serviced, and out of that, what is within your reach is the target market. So say now you have 50 lakh with you, right? So what is the market that you can achieve with that amount of money? What are your limitations? What kind of a team, how you can penetrate the market? So you cannot say you have market in Delhi, you have market in Mumbai, you have market in Kolkata, you have market in Bangalore, but you cannot address all the markets at the same time. So you do have to talk about what exactly is your target. Is the target going to be metros only? Is the target going to be tier 1 cities only, or tier 2 cities only, based on your capabilities and your capacities? That's the difference between what can be serviced and what you can actually achieve.
Thank you so much, thank you so much for joining today and sharing very valuable information.
I
And
hope people
I
have understood what I actually tried to talk to them.
yes, yes, and I really appreciate all the viewers who have joined it. I will request all UP um, participants to kindly do watch it all sessions. Maybe if you have missed any part of it, maybe you can again revisit the link and go through with it carefully. Um, we will come, we will meet again with the next speaker on another different and unique topic. Till then, I really appreciate ma'am for joining today. And also I appreciate Amit ji and Monica for their back and support. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.